This is the letter that I wrote to Mr. Moore when I applied to Chinquapin School. The reason why I would like to go to Chinquapin School is because I like school a lot, and I want to have a better life when I grow up. I read those papers that came with the application, and I would really like to go to that school because it says the kind of classes you all teach, and I would really like to learn very much about electronics, mechanics, how to fix radios, etc. And another thing is that I read that you have everything organized and in good order. The reason why I wouldn't like to go to Jackson, Ryan, or other public schools is because I wouldn't like to be around with the other boys smoking cigarettes or eating drugs like they do around there. And I'm glad you all checked the suitcases because I wouldn't like for you to find drugs or anything bad like that on my suitcase. So that's the reason why I would like to go to Chinquapin, and I hope to be there next year.
Do you still feel that way now, Nelson?
Yes, sir.
Growing up in the ghetto, living can be rough. You got every chance to quit at school, and this can make life tough. 'Cause the ghetto breeds the ghetto, and you know that ain't nowhere. You got to find a place to go where people really care. Your trash man lived next door to you with his rattle-trap garbage truck. He never finished elementary school, and you know he's out of luck. 'Cause the ghetto breeds the ghetto, and you know that ain't nowhere. You got to find a place to go where people really care. Your best friend quit school, and now he's bought a car. He seems to know just where he's going, but you know he ain't going far. 'Cause the ghetto breeds the ghetto, and you know that ain't nowhere. You got to find a place to go where people really care. So you stay in school, but it gets real hard, 'cause the teachers ain't got no time. They're in a hurry and they're waiting for the next one who's in line. 'Cause the ghetto breeds the ghetto, and you know that ain't nowhere. You got to find a place to go where people really care. And you know that they're not interested in how you get through life. They're mostly interested in whether or not you're gonna pull a knife. And the ghetto breeds the ghetto, and you know that ain't nowhere. You got to find a place to go where people really care. Mother loves you, but she's caught in a trap. You know that you're the only chance you'll ever have. And the ghetto breeds the ghetto, and you know that ain't nowhere. You got to find a place to go where people really care.
You're blocking up the hole right now, Larry. Go across there, Billy.
That's so bad. Get this out. You go to the math homework? Yeah, I did.
No whistling do here.
You never do it. I got a sleepy sorry. What you do this weekend?
I went to the lake.
We're gonna have horticulture.
I don't know.
Anything else run out? Last one out just don't. Okay.
You must think that it's gonna be you,
No. It's okay. It's okay. Back one like to go. Back one like to trick. Why? Who did that?
Morning. Hi, Rudy. Hi, Michael. Come on, let's get to class. Come on.
On first year, there was only 16 students down here, and we used to live up on top of the main house in, let's see, 4 rooms. There were 4 to us to a room, and we ate in the kitchen, and we didn't have a whole lot of these buildings. A lot of the buildings now were donated by Camp Island. And we did a whole lot more work down here than we did now. And everything just worked itself out then. When I first came down here, I was kind of prejudiced against blacks because I hadn't lived with blacks ever before or hung around with them. But then after a while, everybody was just buddies with everybody. So, and I wanted to come down here because I thought I could have an opportunity to give me an education because nobody in my family ever graduated from high school because I got 2 brothers and 1 sister. And both my brothers, one of them is a mechanic and the other one works on a tugboat, and they never did. And my sister, she's thinking about quitting school now. She's about 15. And I just wanted to come down here and give me an education.
But if M and N, the exponents, are positive integers, and for every non-zero number A, the reason A has got to be non-zero, of course, is that A can't be 0 because division by 0 is undefined. All right, we've got 3 cases. M equals N, then when you subtract them, you'll get 0 for your exponent, and when you have 0 for your exponent, your number is going to be what? 1. It's going to be 1. All right, if M is greater than N, then we have the law we've already gone over. But if M is less than N, then this number, M minus N, is going to be what, Donnie?
Negative.
All right, it means that it's a negative. All right, now that we've established that that's a negative exponent means that it's 1 over the exponent.
And you change it from an independent clause into a dependent clause. That's what a dependent clause is. It's simply an independent clause to which you've added a word at the beginning. I'm going to give you an example of that. It snowed last February. It snowed last February. When it snowed last February, the students here became delirious. Because it snowed last February, our campus was full of water for about 2 months. Although it snowed last February, it did not stay very long. Now, what I have done is taken a independent clause, added a because word at the beginning. But of course, as you know, when I do that, and if I don't add something onto it, that is, if I don't change it from a dependent clause into a whole sentence by adding something to it, it doesn't make any sense. I come up to Reg in the morning, because it snowed last February, Reg.
Okay, so Javier, when you do you're writing about the trip to Austin, mention Joe Allen and the Baytown Rotary, because they're the ones that really helped us out with that. Charles, tomorrow night at the Boy Scout presentation, cover it. And I want you to mention Pat Hughes. He's been doing a lot of work down here. He's lately really coming around with the Boy Scouts. And most important, mention who's getting what ranks tomorrow, because a lot of people are advancing. And we want to know who they are. I want the parents to see their names in the letter.
Mention that other guy. The one that comes, Dennis.
Dennis, yeah. I'll mention Dennis. And learn about the new school location. Want the parents to know where it is. Get a map in relation to this campus. And mention too that we need some of the boys for work crews. So if the parents would cooperate in letting them stay on weekends, that we'd appreciate. Maybe some of the parents can help us out, either loaning us equipment or time, either one. Put that in there too, okay. All right, we're going to start a parents organization. I want that in, let me see, make that in your section, Lynn, okay, with the new school. Parent Association, they, instead of Mrs. Zamora coming down to cook, maybe we can get somebody down here to help tutor or whatever. Okay, Jamie, you're going to take sports. Mention the soccer game. That was pretty important, because that school had a program for 4 years, and we went out, out of nowhere and dumped them, so everybody's pretty happy about that.
Be careful with that microscope. It's the only one we have. The one thing to watch out for is the focus knob. If you turn it too far, it'll break the glass and maybe the lens, too. The rest of you, while he's looking at that cell, turn to page 92. There's a picture of what he's looking at, an onion skin cell, and study the parts to it. When you look at the microscope, you should be able to see the cell wall and the nucleus for sure. Let's see, we're going to do the experiment today starting on page 94. I need a couple people to get the equipment. Gary, why don't you and Val set it up. Charles, do you have any luck getting it focused? James, where's the glass roar? It's there on the right.
Stay quiet.
I think we have one left.
Make sure when you smash it, keep your hand away from it. That's what I'm telling you, man. You hear about Michael Jones and Jimmy Humphrey having that fight? No. Oh, man. And I don't want to tell you because, I don't want to get him into no trouble, but, I just figured out just come on and tell you. Nobody else did. Yeah, why didn't you tell me?
What part does Clyde play at Chinquapin?
To me, he got the next part to Mr. Moore. Because, whenever somebody him and Sam, Clyde and Sam, when somebody got a problem, when you don't want to go to Mr. Moore, they always seem like the ones you can go and talk to and talk it over to. And then, they don't be trying to tell you nothing wrong. They don't tell you nothing wrong. They trying to tell you something that could help you. And it always seemed to do good whenever him or Clyde talked to some of the boys down here. Because some of them have got into fights, including me myself. I got into fights and been ready to quit. Then it was either Sam or Clyde had to talk to me. Then things just came back to normal.
Albert! You swiped the piece of cake again! You're going to get the crew for the rest of the week. Starting tomorrow and no dessert. I ain't got no kitchen crew. What? You'll see. Just wait. I'm just going to eat my good piece of cake. Good old piece of cake.
problems and things, so we're going to try something different. We're going to go to a group test where you work on them together. Now, it's just like you do on homework anyway, so what I want you to do is draw a number, and then we'll do some things with that. As you get a number, take a look at it, and we're going to divide up in a minute into groups, and that's the group you're in. So, good luck. I expect you to work on the group, and each of you to work on it. Maybe some of you this way can have some better luck on some of these tests, and some of you guys that are doing better can help some of them. Okay? Who hasn't got one? Rick? Okay? Now, take a look at the group you got, the number you got. This is group 1. Group 2 sit here, and then group 3 over here. Let's divide up pretty quick. Just come on around and fit in around the table. Now, you can use your books, but I want you all to work on it. And if somebody's not working on it, then we'll give them an individual test later, okay? So let's go to work. Each question's worth 3, and go to work on it.
It makes you, it helps you get along with people better, and helps you in every way it can. Education, getting along in life, working. Like when I came down here, there was something I had against some people that their skin wasn't the same color as mine. And then when Mr. Moore would talk to me about this, I never had nobody talk to me about things like this. And I started to realize that everybody was the same, everybody was equal, so he changed me in a lot of ways.
How much does it cost for you to come to the school?
Well, the tuition is $5 a month if you can pay it. If you don't, well, Mr. Moore says don't worry about it. But a lot of the boys, they pay their way by working down here and helping in any way they can.
Do you know how much it costs for each boy to go to school down here?
No, but as much as we get out of this school, I don't think nobody down here could work enough or pay enough money to repay Mr. Moore for everything he does for us.
Good to see you. Hi.
Hi, Sam. Yeah, I just saw that tire out there, man. That's pretty bad. That one on the back over there.
It's been there.
Is that the only one?
That's the only one that's that bad, yeah. It's been like that.
How about those brakes, the bellows?
Well, we got the bellows fixed, but we've got some kind of, there's air, listen, there's air in the line. There's like oil in the line, yeah. When we had the almost accident, oil came out. I don't know. We may have to get that fixed.
Yeah. And you said something about compression?
Something's wrong with the 3 of the cylinders. When I took it in to have the brakes fixed, I had them check it, and we didn't, we don't have the money now, but
yeah.
Something's wrong with the compression in those.
Well,
I don't know. What do you?
I'll tell you, we're not, I just talked to some of the board members, and they voted, you made your last run on I-10. I mean, we're going to use it for Lee College, but not I-10 anymore. We just can't take a chance on that.
That's great.
Well, listen.
No more Monday mornings or anything.
No.
Well, what are we going to do?
Well, rent a bus, get a driver or something, but we just can't take a chance on that.
Great. That's great.
Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Fellas, let's have a good night at Lee College, please. I heard some kind of bad reports on a couple of disciplinary things. Okay? Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Who are we missing? Who are we missing? Lion.
If it weren't for students that are interested in the school wouldn't be alive. See, it all depends on us. If we want to study, we want to learn.
Like if you were going to public school, you probably wouldn't have much to say. Like, you know, they tell you what to do and everything. You wouldn't have much choice on what to do. Like right here, they give you a lot of electives, and like if you don't like a class, like Michael Jones, he was supposed to be taking physical science, but they let him in biology with the 10th graders because he was interested in biology.
Might sound kind of corny, but it's sort of like one man's dream coming true, because it is coming true.
Yeah.
See, like when the students come to this school, it's not, and they stay here, it's not, they're not interested in their own life, but they're interested on the rest of their lives. Because see, if they weren't interested in the school and the school fell apart, they'll destroy the chances of other people from the ghetto, from the poor area, getting this chance too. Because if they keep it alive, that means other people have a chance. Not only us, but other friends, other people from our neighborhood.
It's up in its lot because, like, they teach us a lot about what's going on in society, what's the real thing. You know, like, if you go to public schools, okay, they tell you, like, you know, what do you want to worry about? What do you want to be proud of your race for? And down here, they say, like, be proud to be a Chicano or black.
They encourage you to be proud.
I think at this school we get a much better view of the problems that exist in the world today.
It's called the teachers' care.
Racism, war, the poverty, and in public schools they try to ignore those kind of problems because they are not concerned. The teachers go there to do their job.
They don't want you to know what's really going on. I don't think they do. They just want you to keep on living and just become some janitor, maybe somebody who cleans up a building or something. Because, like, for most of the people that I know that are Chicanos, they don't have high jobs.
The salinity was 18 ppm.
18 what?
Parts per million.
All right, how's it going this week? But it's less. So yeah. Okay, your salinity's less this week. Last week was 26, and this week is 18. Mm-hmm. All right, we changed the water down, right? Yeah. You had real turbid conditions. Have you run your turbidity yet?
No, not yet. It's 10. Turbidity is 10.
10 points. All right. What did you have last week on your turbidity?
The same.
No, what's it? No, you had a higher one. Okay, now that was why. Why did you bring it down? We put lime in the water and then cellulose minerals are flowing in the water down. All right. And when we added the more fresh water to the salt water, it brought the salinity down too, right? This is your female grasshopper. And the distinguishing characteristic on this is this abdomen segment. It's called an ovipositor.
What are these little things I do?
Well, all right, this is
It's used for placement of eggs in the ground. The female will lay her eggs in the ground and use this adapted last segment to place them in the ground. Now the male doesn't have it. Again, he's just got a regular end segment. And so we don't cook it. Don't ever let the bacteria on the slide cook. If the slide gets hotter than you can afford or touch comfortably with the palm of your hand, it's too hot. Now you can see it starts to evaporate, and we're getting our little film again, but it's not as thick. This is a little easier. When we go to staining, you'll be able to tell the individual bacteria easier because they'll be spread a lot thinner on the slide.
It's getting dry.
The air's getting cooler as the sun goes down. The shadows grow longer, trying to cover the ground. I'll yell one last time before I go inside. I've got to slow down now, the night has come. Can you really teach me? Are you really my friend? Come on, let's sit together now. I've got a hand to lend. We're so much closer now, the night has come. We're so much closer now, the night.
So you don't understand tariffs? Is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Well, okay. Suppose you lived in the South. All right, what would you likely be growing?
Cotton.
Okay. What would you use the cotton to make?
Find out about the temperature.
Clothes.
All right, but could you make
Under
them
what?
in the South?
The weather. Okay, so you would look in the weather
You need
part.
industry, you need some kind of plant. Could you have plants in the South, though?
And you find out.
At night I sit and wonder all about the day before. It's now I get the reward, and I couldn't ask for more. Now I have a family, and you know I love the night. Oh, now I have a family, and you know I love the night.
Scout is loyal. A Scout is true to his family, Scout leaders, friends, school, and nation.
These Scouts have earned the Citizenship Skill Award. Citizenship is the first required award in the advancement trail. No nation can survive without a strong government. The strength of our nation's government lies in responsible citizenship. With this award goes the responsibility of guarding the government you will live under. Ignore this responsibility, and your government will control you. Shoulder this responsibility, and you will control your government.
Frank Gomez, it is an honor to present to you this life patch and life pen. Congratulations, and best.
You looked worried most of yesterday. Now let's sit right down. Now the lights are turned off. Everyone's in bed. My friend, he likes the day, but I like the night instead. At night I walk around the school. I get a chance to think. I know that maybe someday I'll supply the missing link. Now the time has come, we've got to write it down. I just thought up a clever line, I'll try to be a clown. The night has just one meaning, and as the dawn arrives, it's just to say good morning.
some cereal.
What's principal, Cop?
The money you take out.
The money you borrowed. Okay, on the bottom of page 374, there's a chart, which I've reproduced up here on the board. And you use this for finding out how much you'd pay back. So, for $100 at simple interest, if you borrow, say, $100 at 5% for 2 years, you go down the 5% column, come across the 2-year row, and pay how much? 110, right. Okay? Now suppose you borrowed that same $100 at 6% interest for 4 years, Reginald.
Oh, you have to pay 124.
124, right. Anybody disagree with that?
But for somebody like me that like be on the streets a lot and down here at Chinquapin, I mean, most of my friends don't see how I make it down here at Chinquapin. For the things I do at home, they don't see how I make it. But the thing is, see, most of the boys around my neighborhood, they used to talk about Chinquapin. But now, most of them end up, after 3 months, they end up, I want to go to that school to see if you can get me in there. The same ones that talk about it, they get in groups and they talk about the school, say real bad things about it, and then next 3 months they trying to come to school down here, talking about they want to come next year, try to get them in and all that. That's when they do that when you get by yourself, but when you're in groups, they like to talk about it. I mean, but don't nobody talk about it no more, because they know where it's at now, and they wish they was here.
You know, there are enough buildings on this land that if we moved the ones we've got, and if we could buy or find some or build one other building that would be our dormitory or classrooms and kitchen, dining hall, I think we'd have it made. I don't think we'd need anything else for a year or so. I mean, you can take the big building, that big old hen barn that's 24 feet wide and got 8-foot ceilings in it, and it's got a cement sill. It could be made into classrooms for the junior high school. I think you could put 3 rooms in there, maybe with 6 boys in a room. You get a room about 16 by 16 out of it, which is bigger than any of the rooms the boys have now. You could have 18 7th graders and 18 8th graders next year and still have a big classroom, about, I think, 16 by 24. And that would make it so that all the classes were in one room. We'd certainly cut down on book loss. Make it a lot easier in rainy weather. Of course, we'll never have another winter like this one. We'll have to have a slab out here. We've got to have a basketball court of some kind, because basketball is the biggest thing in the world to these kids. Maybe someday a gym. But with all these acres here, 18.5 acres, and then that creek running along the west side, and the trees we've got, it's going to take a year before the kids really discover this land and have gone over it all and found out there are little places where they're going to sit up and lean against a tree in the afternoon with a book, fish for crawdads back there, or go fish in Highland Reservoir. And we certainly got enough room for baseball fields, and soccer field, and I guess just about everything else we'd ever want to have. I think looking at no more than, say, 95 kids, that because it's a boarding school, because we're living together 24 hours a day for about 5 days, that we can still keep the familial aspects of the school. But it's still not that big. You still are going to know the kids. I think anything beyond 100, and that's not any magic number, but much more than that, and you're going to find one day that you're going to walk out there and you're not going to remember somebody's name, and that's going to be really bad. So I don't think we'll ever have that many people, any more than 100. I think that the horizons of the kids, of course, have broadened so tremendously. Boys come to us and they were going to be truck drivers, and now their ambition is to become medical doctors.
Yeah, and they're all intrigued, or so many of them are intrigued, with the idea of once they get out of school, college, hopefully, that they're going to go back into their own communities and help the people there.
I hope they'll always retain this, because this, in a way, is what the whole school's been about. It's been helping them with the idea that they, in turn, will pass this on to other people in other places and other times. And certainly Michael has told me several times that when he becomes a medical doctor, that he's going to open up a clinic in the ghetto. Several other boys have announced it's their intention to come back to Chinquapin, or to maybe work in another Chinquapin someplace, or to start one themselves. So I hope it'll work. That's the whole thing of education. It's like the circles that go out from the pebble that's dropped in the water. You never know when it's going to stop. It'll go on and on and on. It'll affect the children of the boys who have gone to Chinquapin. It'll affect their families. It'll affect their neighborhood. It may never stop.
The world don't seem so busy now. It's easier to smile. I know that I will make it through every countless mile. And the ghetto breeds the ghetto, and I know that ain't nowhere. I know I found a place to go where people really care. Walking close to morning, I heard a little song, breathing in this whole big world in which we all belong. God is in your giving and in our hearts as well. I know I've found a place to go where people really care. I know I found a place to go where people really care.